again, starting to build the demo area. Oh yeah. There you go. Time to play. Well, this is what we got going on so far. It's going to be a little pond here, and this will be representing a dam slash crossover type deal into a little stream. And then when we get all this set up, this will be for like a pin set and wire crossing. She's over here, Paul. Yep. Rick, you're in trouble. You're getting yelled at. So anyway, there's a little bit of progress. Hey guys, just wanted to get on here real quick and just kind of give you a heads up on what this whole thing was about. So I was planning on doing a couple of YouTubes out of this event, and we just got so stinking busy down there that I decided I was just going to do short little pieces of all the demos that the Cash from the Mountain Man show put on. We had a great group of people come down and do demos. I mean, we had everything from muskrat to wolf, water sets, dry land, you name it. It was a good time. We had buck skinners there, a guy that does brain tanning that actually learned from the natives back in the Midwest way back in the 60s. So it was just a really good event. We had a really good turnout. The cast members are all wanting to come back down and do it again next year, and I'm all for it. You know, that everybody that knows me knows I've known Paul Anzac for a long time, and he's a cast member. But it was really cool to meet the other guys and gals. Sorry, Ivy. But it was just a great experience overall. I do have to apologize for some of the audio in some of these demos. We were in a metal building, exterior noise outside. Some of it might be rough. I tried to do the best I could with it through editing, so don't hit me too hard in the comments on that, but I'll change some stuff next year if we do this, and I'll have different cameras set up too. But anyway, great time. Had a great banquet, did really well in the auction. Everything exceeded my expectations, and unbeknownst to me, towards the end of the banquet there, Paul Anzac was up on the stage and having a little talk, and because nobody knew it was coming, nobody got to film it, but yours truly was awarded the Montana Fur Harvester Trapper of the Year award, which I thought was pretty awesome. Totally from left field, did not see that one coming, but man, what a freaking honor. So I was very blessed, very pleased, and had a great time. It's kind of a long video, guys, but bear with me. There's some good information in there, and some of these cast members got some pretty funny stories, and figured I'd share them with you, and yeah, watch it, enjoy it, and we'll see you on the next one. Should be about a week, and I should be heading north checking wolf cameras. We'll see you then.
About 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, actually, if you go all the way back to Southern Illinois, when I trapped a bunch back there, Southern Illinois has a really nice beaver, and I always liked the platinum bellies on their beavers. I'm like, man, that's got to be some better stuff than the backs, because a lot of the times on the backs, you know, they get bit up and everything, but the belly was never bit up, it was never roughed up, and it was always good. So I've tried skinning them down the back side like this, just to save that belly. I did that a few times, and it worked out, but it was just really, really awkward to do that. And because I wanted that belly first. So then I decided just to go ahead and try skinning one case method like a muskrat. And the reason I do a case method, and I'll pass this around, it has a completely different feel to it, is my fur, I don't sell my fur until it becomes a real nice wall hanger, tan, or goes into a garment. So my trapping from last winter, I won't get paid for that until this next winter. So it's kind of a long wait to get a paycheck, but it is what it is. So I wanted to go ahead and experiment with my furrier, Jeff Schlein. I'm doing mittens for women and just using the belly fur because it's two different kinds of fur. This is more like an otter, more like a short nap, and you throw it around the back and you got that long stuff, right? So my idea was, maybe the women would be a little bit more attracted to that shorter nap where it's not such an aggressive, longer fur. So I started doing the case method because now I can use 100% of the beaver. When you skin it round like this up the belly, I only had a little bit of right here on the sides to go ahead and utilize that belly fur. So, but right now, he'll go ahead and he'll take, when Jeff gets my beaver, he'll go ahead and he'll cut it down the side here and down the side there, and then he'll block it out. Now I got a big, huge plate to go ahead and use that belly fur. Okay? Come up the leg here like this. My knives are horrible. So I forgot to have my son go ahead and pull the beaver out for me. So he got to the VRBO last night, and I'm like, I got that demo tomorrow. He's like, yeah, you got that demo tomorrow. I'm like, that beaver's frozen. Does it say anything in the VRBO rules about thawing a beaver out in a clawfoot tub? Nope. So we threw it in the clawfoot tub and put the water to it. So frozen beaver, dull knife. Some kind of professional, eh? What do you got there? Is that sharp?
Might be a little better, no?
Oh no, that's
Good try.
yeah. Thanks for the thought. My fall beaver, I round them, okay, which is the open method. My winter beaver and my spring beaver are the ones that I case. Because my fall beaver, I shear, and that becomes the liners for my mitten. So, we come over here just like you'd skin a coyote. Hang that right there. This is probably a really important part as far as keeping it on your stretcher, is keeping that nose intact. Unless you want to put a bunch of pins in it on a board, or you got to put it on a board. Like I say, the bigger beavers, they fit real well on a wolf board. I had a bunch of extra wolf boards and I cut them down from 8 foot down to 6 foot. So,
with this Iditarod stuff, what got me started running dogs and running the Iditarod was my dad, who kind of always trapping and stuff. He used this dog for trapping, and I spent some time around him, a lot of those little guys back on the Yukon River and stuff like that. Big thing about the Iditarod too is the mental challenges for the mushrooms. Because there's mushrooms that scratch in that race, and their dogs are completely fine. But the reason they scratch is they get in their head. I mean, it's an emotional roller coaster that until you finally experience it, it's nuts. Because you can be on the highest of highs, and all of a sudden you're leaving whatever, you camp for 4 hours for dogs, and they get going, and all of a sudden you think, oh man, my team's falling apart and whatnot. I remember when I decided to do a Iditarod, one thing my dad told me was, before you scratch, go to sleep for a little bit, because that's one thing too. We're also fighting is sleep deprivation. A lot of us mushrooms aren't really getting a whole lot of sleep. We're sleeping 4 hours from 24-hour period, being competitive, and some of those guys that are being super competitive aren't really sleeping that much. Dogs are resting a lot, but you're staring at that clock. What makes it funny is we have a leader hook, and we have the dog stringed up. I got everybody booted. I have a leader hook as part of my hook system for the sled. I go up there, go take that off. My dog's just hammering on the line. And I'm surprised they didn't pop my hooks then. I go take off my leader hook. They just start going ballistic. I get halfway to my team, and my sled takes off down there. And I jump, I have a trailer back in the sled, so I just jump and grab that thing. And I let go of my leader hook on that. I just let go of that. I'm just hanging on to this thing, and they won't stop. I'm like digging my heels into the my toes into the snow, and they just keep on rolling. So I'm like crawling up, and I'm getting on. We have a tail dragger, so generally these modern sleds, they have a main basket here. They have this back section here that acts like a seat or an extra place to put gear. Call that our tail dragger. So I'm crawling up that thing, trying to tip my sled over, but it's pretty heavy. It's early in the race, and we had extra gear in there. And I finally just get to my brake. I'm just pushing down that thing. I'm still on my belly, this whole deal. And I freaking finally I stop, and I just get up there really quick. My main hook's underneath my sled, and I still got my other hook. Be, this is the first run, so it's still going to be, still got over 1,000 miles to go. It's going to be a long race without that other hook to slow down. So I told my leaders, come haul, I mean, makes them go this way, and they stole the other hook drag, and I finally get that thing off. I lift it up and I grab it, and I grab my other hook, and I made them come haul again back on the trailhead to Nenana. And I'm just telling my dogs, man, you guys aren't being very nice right now. And still, then we get to Nenana, and I'm all hot, ready to go. I have my buddies there. I'm like, all right, guys, see you later. Pull the hook. We passed. They had the teams in front of us, and we passed them. We're getting going. And I had this early in the race, so I didn't have my best leaders because I'm saving my better leaders for later on. So I had Tweedledee, Tweedledum up front. They know G and Ha. They can go off trail. But they saw the dog trucks because it was like this bar sold road systems we were allowed to have, and so they thought, oh, well, there's the dog trucks. So we're done for the day. So they try to go up in Nenana, the checkpoint's on the riverbank. So they try to go up the bank to the village, and I'm yelling at them like ha ha ha. And saying a few choice words.
You're talking about like Jake that gets bleep.
Yeah, the camera guys were there. The camera guys were there filming it all, and I'm like, they have a few bleep words there, and they have a tempo, and the tempo just banging. I got the dogs up. He's just banging on his harness the whole time. And finally, they got turned, but now we're going back into the checkpoint. They're going to head on, these teams that are camped. But finally, a good friend of mine, Matthew Failer, is camped there. He runs up, he grabs my dogs, and he puts them back on the trail. I'm like, thank you. And I take off. But that was 71 at the time. I'm 77 now. So he's on the dogs, and I feel like I'm back at being a kid again. I'm up front of snowshoes, him yelling at me to go faster. But, I look back, and he tips over in the boulder field. He tips over the sled, and he gets drunk through there. And I'm kind of laughing because it was kind of funny. And he gets up, he cusses me out, and he's like, "Hey, it's not so funny when you're 70 years old." And I went, "Oh, shoot!" And we get halfway. We only made it halfway that night. We camped at a friend's fish camp. And he didn't talk to me most of the rest of that day. It was just a quiet log. And I thought it was funny. And part of him cussing me out was like, why the heck doesn't your dog know what bull means? These freaking race dogs, you know what bull means? You know, he had more subsistence trap line dogs. And he said some other couple words to me. I can repeat from kids. But then afterwards, you know, we get to the fish camp. We're sitting down eating dinner. And he's like, oh, I bet it was pretty funny on your end. Sorry for cussing you out. Yeah.
And so a coyote smells, I believe, like we see. So as I'm talking to you guys right now, I see these people walking in. I look over here. As I'm communicating, talking with you, I can see the food truck, and then Russ is sitting there. And that's how their smell is coming into their brain and how they're gathering information. I do believe. Also, coyotes will separate smells. So it's not just smelling a pumpkin pie. That coyote's smelling all the ingredients of the pumpkin pie, and he's separating those smells out. Okay. So this is another reason why I don't believe in using cover-up scents for coyote trapping. If cover-up scents worked for coyote trapping, the drug cartels have used it to go ahead and smuggle the ethanol and the cocaine and everything across the border. You can direct that nose to a spot, and you can direct that foot into the trap. Okay? So the set I want to talk about is the classic T-bone set. Super simple, absolutely freaking love it. It's got great visual. There's bones laying all over the place, like, you know, there's always bones in the woods. You know, for wolves or if you're trapping ranches or whatever, there's always bones. They're gonna stop and smell them, you know, but it's just a great set. So I think the biggest mistake people make when they're bedding traps is they'll go ahead and they'll dig their bed. If you look at the bottom, it'll be flat, okay? So if you go ahead and you bed a trap on a flat ground, you're gonna throw that chain underneath it, okay? And now you gotta try to get that thing solid. So now you're gonna pack dirt. You're gonna spend all this time packing dirt around it, pack it into the jaws, underneath the levers and all of that. You're gonna be sitting there packing that trap up. You're wasting so much time packing traps in there. When you can just, if you dig your hole right, you don't have to worry about that. The way I dig my hole, it's gonna go ahead on like 4 different points on the edge. It's not gonna be even sitting. It's gonna be hollow underneath here. It's gonna sit underneath points like that. And then I just stick it down and give it a twist, and that's it, it's done. Finished. So, the way I dig my hole, deep in the center, like that. I'll drive my stake down. All of this chain goes down inside of there. And there it is. With a flat base. And this might be elementary for some guys, but you gotta understand there might be some guys here that are new trappers. Get in there now to get all this chain underneath there. I like to dig mine really deep. So when I do that, you're like, oh, look at that, it's wiggly. So now I'm gonna spend time doing this, pack it in. I'll grab my hammer, pack that in there, and you're just spending all this time, and then you're spending time, all the smell is falling off of you. You're getting, by the time you get done, that coyote's gonna know what your wife ate the other day. You know what I'm saying? So there's noses that are so good. Love my T-bones, okay? Different times of year, I use different lures in it. My October coyotes, mid-October, November coyotes, the pups are still intact with the family unit, most likely. They haven't dispersed yet. There's a lot of competition between the pups. I'm not going to go ahead and use gland lures. I'm just not going to. Just try to stay away from them. That's when I'll use like a mouse-based lure, a food lure. There's a lot of competition with coyotes. I try to trap over dead cows. I'll stay about 60, 70 feet away from a dead cow, and the cow will be upwind. That was another thing I tested this past year. I've set them on the upwind side of the den. Coffee filters or pan covers. Find your pan. See, it's kind of a flat set. You do want to pack it in a little bit. You got kind of an angle right here. Put that angle up towards the hole. I run about that far. I don't bring a tape measure on my trap line. You can actually guide the foot, the coyote's foot. Stick that sucker there. That's basically it. Hands right there. I'll go ahead and, sometimes I'll do some quads over there, maybe a quad over here. And that's it. Take some fall. I'll go ahead and run a little bit of bait, in there. And that'll be about it. Shot a urine if you want to, in the fall or whatever. As the season starts progressing into their breeding and their para, which is January, coming into February. Then I'll run a little bit of gland lure. A friend of mine, I went to the Virginia convention last year, that PA convention. And he's like, man, you got to try Russ Carmen's bend sank. I'm like, oh, right, it can't be that great. It's just another gland lure. He goes, no, you got to try the bend sank. He goes, it's really good. So I bought 4 jars of it and brought it back. I cracked it open. You know the smell of the dog kennel? I mean, that pungent urine smell, that dog kennel smell, like the male, actually, I think I got some left. Yeah, there it is. I don't know Russ Garman. Never met the guy. I don't think I have. But this stuff is dynamite. I mean, it is. I couldn't believe the reaction I was getting from it. And then another one is, if you watch YouTube, Judith and Dan Davis. He's out of Mississippi. We call it dirty castor. I call southern castor dirty. It's got a different kind of smell to it because probably what they eat. And so, anyways, he makes a stuff called Alpha Delta, which is made from southern beaver castor. And it's dynamite. And a little bit on that and the inside of there. And that's about all I do with it. You know what I mean?
All right, so this is kind of crazy because half of this is just my family here, which is awesome to have. I really didn't prepare for this too much just because I figured you guys probably have more questions for me than information that I might be giving you. But what it comes down to, hunting with hounds are a tool, but they're not just a tool. These dogs are definitely, they were my kids before I finally had a kid. And they still are our babies. We have multiple dogs sleep in the house with us, in our bed every night. Along with that, we have house cats. So these dogs will track down mountain lion, bobcat, bear, fight them all day long, and they'll go home and they'll cuddle up next to the house cat. There's a lot of people that say that can't be done. The fact of the matter is, what you put into it, the dogs are way more smarter than you are. The second you feel like you're smarter than your dog and you're doing something wrong on the mountain, it's the second you end up walking a lot of extra miles, doing a lot of stuff. You always got to trust your dog no matter what. Marley was the only dog, actually, when I was doing the TV show Mountain Man. She was 3 months old. She was so tiny, and I was just letting her ride around in my lap. And I figured if we found a lion, I'd walk into the tree. Well, we found a giant mountain lion, a 150 plus pound Tom, and I knew right off the bat when I saw it. And I looked at my cameraman and I was like, you know what? I'm going to dump Marlene on this. And as a pup, they'll usually smell it for a few seconds and then they'll come back. She's the snow's a 1.5 feet deep. She's maybe 10 inches tall. And weighs maybe 15 pounds. And the second I opened the door and put her down, she went, "Burr!" and gone. And I looked at my cameraman and I'm like, oh shit! I start calling her dogs, which I never let my cameraman call her dogs. But when you have a 15-pound dog take off like her butt's on fire, and she's going after a 150-plus pound cat, it's time to drop everything and actually. Excuse me for my language. So the next time I saw Marlene was at the tree, which I cannot tell you how cool that was to see. We got to the tree. My one cameraman had never seen a lion before. And I don't know what I was thinking, but I got to the tree, I got excited. I grabbed my big dogs. First thing you do is tie it uphill. Now, when you're with a mountain lion, you always want to be uphill, up the tree. So you're always going to be downhill because it's up in the tree, obviously. But you're always on a slope. And when a mountain lion exits, he's always going to go downhill and away from you. So, for the safety of everybody, you always swing to the upside of the tree. So when the cat comes out, it can come out unconfrontational without grabbing a human, a dog, whatever that might be. So I got to the tree, and I chained up my 3 old dogs, and I'm looking over here at this cameraman, and he has the biggest man on his face. I'm like, isn't that cool? And about the time I say that, I see his eyes get big. And and I turn like this, and I see that mountain lion go out of the tree, and when it hit the ground, Marlene, 15 pounds, had a hold of it by the tail. And my other 3 dogs that are above me came to a tree, and I'm just like, ah! Run back, dumping dogs, and it was just wild. And from that day on, Marlene just never looked back. I put a collar on her 3 months one day, and I mean, we just started running lines. She's been my one and moving dog. She's truly what makes you me. Like everybody sees me catch all these cats. It's not me. These dogs catch. As a matter of fact, everybody else asks me how many lines I catch, and that's something that I'd never like to share. But this year's the first year I will honestly answer to anybody, and I did catch 1 bobcat by myself this year without that. The dogs do all the catching. I just follow. I'm the guy that's dumb enough to keep following all the time. Like a lot of my friends here have went with me before, and you know, we find out taking them out for a week, and they do looking at me and like, you got a big problem. Like, I'm going, you're not. So what I do is I will leave my house anywhere from 12 to 2 o'clock in the morning, and I will run roughly 300 to 400 miles of mountain roads in the night. Because a mountain lion in the state of Montana is a big game animal. You can only run it a half hour before sunrise. You have to keep the dogs out in a half hour after sunset, which is unbelievable. But you do your best. Mountain lions will breed year round. That's another thing that a lot of people don't realize. There's no mating season for mountain lions. They will mate year round. And how they do that is it's really crazy actually. You'll take like a big tom will never be in the same area. Like unless he makes a kill or he's looking for that female, he'll never be in the same area. So what he does is his job's to breed. He will wake up and he literally will walk a straight line, and about, I would say every 200 to 300 yards, he'll get underneath a pine tree and he'll make a little, this is a mountain lion scrape. It's literally looks just like this. And then he pees on it. And then he keeps going. And he keeps pretty much a straight line. He'll hit different ridges, but pretty much straight line that they'll do. And in my country, I track him for probably 40 miles as a crow flies. It's the furthest I have tracked one lion, and I would cut him here, and then it would take him like 12 days to get to the next spot. And it took me, I think it was 42 days before I finally caught him. I turned loose on him 3 times. All 3 times I ended up in a whiteout blizzard that I was very lucky I had a GPS because I couldn't see anything from my face. And I would have been extremely lost. And so that cat escaped us for a lot of times, and then we ended up catching him. So what they'll do is he'll get to the end of his line, and that was the other road I was getting to, and he'll turn around, and instead of peeing as he comes back, he goes to every one of these mountains and he smells them. So what he did is he covered this whole valley, per se, and if a female is in heat, females stick in smaller areas. So if a female's in heat, they're usually hunting around the hillside, and she's hunting, she will find that scrape, and if she's ready to mate, she'll pee on it, and she'll never look at it again. So when that tom comes back and he actually smells that, that's when he's in big trouble, because then he's got to go find her. He knows that she's right here, and that's what they do. Cats only think 3 things. Can I play with it? Can I eat it? Can I have sex with it? That's literally the only 3 things your house cat, a mountain lion, anything ever thinks. And if you think I'm crazy, watch this. It's literally all they do. I always say cats would be the easiest thing in the world to trap besides mice, because they only think 3 things. And if you can satisfy one of the 3 needs, you got yourself a cat. I mean, it's like really the simplest animal in the world to trap. It's not a good thing. Mountain lions are an animal that don't reproduce like people think they do. A mountain lion might have, well, in the Ruby Valley, I have 2 gold scar moms that I call them. One's like a double gold star. And both of them have had up to 4 kittens twice that I know of. One of them has kept all 4 kittens until they were actually adults and kicked off of her, which is absolutely impressive because they have. So you've got this Tom that's coming back in here to smell this scrape. Well, there might be a female in here with kittens that ain't his kittens. And if he senses that, he's gonna go after those kittens and he's gonna hunt down and kill them. And because why he does that is because then he can bring that female in the heat faster and he can pass on his genetics. So a lot of these cats are not even coming close to making it to mature. The average mountain lion killed age in the state of Montana is 2.5 years old. I have guided mountain lion hunts for 9 years now. I think we've taken out 58 clients. 55 have gotten cats. We've killed 1 cat over 5 years old. So that tells me that these cats are definitely being killed long before they reach the end of their lifetime, which is, in my opinion, I don't like it, but I also am a houndsman and predators do need damage no matter what.
All right, welcome guys. Carol. So, Ivy and I are from Alaska. How many people have been to Alaska here? Yeah, right on. Yeah. Of course, Tyson. Yeah. This is one of our camera guys here that came out with us a couple years ago or last year.
He's actually come out and filmed us trapping marten and learned to skin his first marten.
Yeah, and he actually skinned a marten. How many martens did you catch going into the cabin there?
Was it 13?
Something like that.
Yeah, that was a pretty high number.
Yeah. If anybody's seen the show, Tyson was the episode of bringing in the wood stove and some marten trapping. So we did with Tyson. Yeah, that was the camera. Yep. So, yeah. So my name is Brett Vaughn. This is my wife Ivy, and we're both born and raised Alaskans, and we do big game guiding and trapping in Alaska, and of course we're on the TV show Mountain Man. So it's a passion of both of ours, and I grew up, a little background about myself, I was born in Anchorage, homeschooled from kindergarten through 5th grade. Lived out there in the bush, kind of in the area where I ended up building my first cabin when I was 19. Then I went to school in Anchorage, did the public schools, played hockey, went to college. Was going to be an air traffic controller, graduated with a couple degrees, and there was a hiring freeze with the FAA. And then since I was 23, and I was getting bugged since I was 18 by my dad's guy that he guided for. He was just an assistant guide, retired school teacher. So I was like, yeah, I'll try it. It's kind of like a filler, you know, just out of college and stuff, and ended up making big game guiding a career. And we do traffic tours, women's retreats, big game guiding, stuff like that. So, and then when I was in college, I bought a piece of property when I was 19 years old and built a cabin in the 4 summers and lived out there full time for about 8 years. Besides guide work and worked my way up, and was doing that, and that's how I met Ivy, and then we collaborated and joined teams, and her background was fishing, commercial fishing and stuff, and I did some sport fishing guiding when I was in high school and stuff like that, and we made a great team, and we met and hit it right off, and we're like, wow, we combined our worlds and stuff like that. You find somebody who can, hang out here in the woods, and we make a great team. And what we do with the power of 2, there's no way I can be where I'm at without her. And yeah, we'll let her talk a little bit about herself before we begin today.
What an intro. It's like you thought that one out. Hi, everybody. I'm Ivy. I grew up in Alaska, closer to the coast, more Bristol Bay, Kenai Peninsula area. I switched between the 2. I come from a commercial fishing family in a small village. So I grew up commercial fishing. I got a permit when I was 13, and the rest of the year, when the summer was over, I didn't know what I wanted to do with the rest of the year. So I picked up a lot of different trade work. I was a skinner and a flasher for a lot of years too, and I always thought, man, I get to work with these fur-bearing species a lot. It'd be really cool to see it full circle and see what the trap line life is about. And then not too much longer after, I met Brett through a good friend of ours, and he immediately invited me out to go trapping with him, and I was like, oh man, man, this is my dream. Like, here we are, you know, this big life that we built together. So, yeah, my intro into trapping and seeing what that world looked like was what we're about to show you here, setting up pole sets for Martin. The first trip into the cabin that he built that he was telling you about, the concept of Martin on my way in, I was just mind blown. Like, this is the best thing ever. So, yeah, excited to be here. You know, we came from Alaska, so as we heard this was all teaming up and that everyone was going to get together. And even a lot of like-minded trappers and outdoorsmen here in Montana, we were like, we got to go on vacation. We're getting out of Alaska. We're going to go to Montana, see everybody. So we're grateful to be here. Thanks for having us. And we're going to kind of share what trapping in Alaska looks like. Brett's going to kind of throw his sets together here and show you how we do it. Yeah, and take any questions you guys have.
Okay, what kind of bait do I use? Okay, well, Martin, it's kind of great because you don't have to worry about scent. They're pretty thing, but any kind of bait, you can use anything for a Martin, but what we use is Martin. I use Martin for Martin. So I save my carcasses, I cut the skulls off, we keep that. You can either get you get about 6 sets out of a Martin. So you cut the 4 legs off, there's 4 pieces, and you take the torso. This is after it's already frozen. You cut it in half. I let them freeze like this, so you can easily cut them so they're already frozen. Or you can take a front leg, wire it underneath here. You can take a hind leg, a torso of a Martin. I like to save my torsos because they're easy to go in the conifer, so I use those, and then mostly I use the legs for the outside shoulder. Martin, you could use beaver, but mainly 98% of our Martin sets are caught off of Martin. And we have a lot of trail camera videos of Martin. You know, they eat Martin. You know, so you got a Martin hanging. That's another reason why you want them hanging, because Martin will go in here and eat another Martin. So it depends on your population.
We've never seen any sort of sign of them crawling up from underneath. You know, if anything, they're always coming up either straight from the pool or they're going to come up the length of the pole, and then they'll crawl